Hi guys, it's Erin and I am going to do a reading vlog for my first week of graduate school. I just kind of wanted to do this because I feel like in my interactions with people, if you're not in academics, you don't really understand what goes on. And also I thought it would just be fun because I'm excited about my graduate program and I want to share my experience with you guys. I'll try to, at the very least, like update every day and explain a little bit about what happened. Right now it's Sunday, nothing's happened. Actually, I'm just kind of like taking a day to do some YouTube stuff and just kind of hang out. I'll probably watch a movie later. I just wanted this day to be sort of chill, but I thought I would at least start the vlog now because I don't know how tomorrow morning is gonna go. I think it's gonna be a little bit crazy. I have 4 classes that I'm taking, and so most of the time for the next 4 days at least, I will be either in class or in the library reading for class. So one of the classes is about like being a professional scholar, and we haven't had any assignments in that class. We don't have any like books for our reading list or anything, and to be quite honest, I don't exactly know what that class is going to entail, but I have had some reading assignments. So I'm taking 3 other classes. One of them is history of American print culture, and the books are over there, so I'm not gonna get them. This is more about, this used to be called the history of the book. So it's actually looking at the physical objects of books and things like newspapers and stuff like that, any kind of print culture. It's in the title. And this course is gonna specifically look at how print culture changed over the course of American history. And so I think that's going to be really cool. It'll be sort of like a little bit of a history class, a little bit of a literature class. We're actually reading, like I said, we have some textbooks, which is really unusual for an English class. Usually you just read books, or academic articles, or both. We are reading academic articles in that class. So I've had some reading in that class that I am not actually done with yet. But that's only because the professor forgot to post something and only posted it today, so not my fault. I'm also reading 2 books for 2 of my classes. So my class tomorrow, which I'm sure I'll say again tomorrow, is a Victorian novel. I'm so excited for this class. It has nothing to do with my specialization, which is early modern English literature, and it's like Shakespeare, so like 300 years too late, but I'm super excited. And one of the things, the first book we're reading is Oliver Twist. The only problem with Victorian novel is you've seen some of those Victorian novels. They're really long, and we're reading 3 really long books, but I think the professor's given us like a decent amount of time by grad school standards anyway. But we're starting with Oliver Twist, and we had to read the first half, so I've finished doing that. And then the other thing I have to finish is this book for my literary criticism class. It has a fancier name, but basically that's what it is. We're talking about the different kinds of literary criticism, different ways that you can read books and talk about them and what they mean. Critical theory is close to philosophy, and it's not my strongest point, so I think this class is the one that I'm gonna have to work the hardest in, but it's a required class, and I am actually interested in taking the class and doing all of the readings and discussing the things with the professor. I've met the professor and he's very nice, and I think he'll be, you know, helpful if I'm struggling. Like, I'll be able to talk to him and be like, I don't know what's going on. And also some of the other members of my class are really excited, so that's helpful because when you have other people who are excited, it helps make you excited too. And they're like, oh, this thing is so cool, and you're like, really? It is? Okay, now I want to read it, instead of being like, ah. But the first assignment was to read The Names by Don DeLillo. I'm close to being finished. I'll finish tomorrow. It's a pretty quick read because it's contemporary. So that's kind of my like pre-homework. The reason that people have been surprised, they're like, really, you're getting homework already? Most graduate classes are 3-hour seminars, so you meet once a week for 3 hours, and so you can't do like the undergrad syllabus day where the professor hands you your syllabus and then like walks you through it and is like, okay, bye, see you next class, because that would be an entire week later and you would waste about 2.5 hours of actual valuable class time. So it's pretty common actually to have professors ask you to do at least a little bit of reading before the first day of class, just so you have something to talk about. And some of that depends on the professor, like how much you do, depends on the professor, it depends on the class, like the actual like nature of the class. Sometimes they can present for 3 hours and it's fine and you don't do any extra work, but a lot of times you are asked to read something. That was pretty common even like in my master's. This week will be interesting to vlog, and one of the reasons I wanted to vlog it is because I really, like, I've been in grad school before, but this experience is going to be quite different, just because it's a different school, because it is a PhD program and not a master's program, and also because it's full-time. But I will see you guys tomorrow. First day of school, yay! It's about 10:30 right now. My first class isn't, well, my only class today isn't until 3 o'clock, but I have some work to do, and I want to kind of establish a habit of like getting up and not sleeping late, and then going to a coffee shop or the library or whatever and doing my homework there, and then going to class after that. Obviously not doing the homework for that class there, but anyway, it's about 10:30. It's about an hour later than I want to eventually leave, but it was the first day and I was just kind of figuring out like my routine and stuff, so that's fine. It's gonna be hot today, so that's great. I don't know how much I'm gonna update or how frequently or what I'm gonna film or anything. We'll see what happens. Hi guys, so it's Wednesday now. I am a very bad vlogger, apparently, now that school has started, because Wednesday. The last 2 days have gone really well. I guess I haven't vlogged at all. Did I vlog on Monday afternoon? I don't think so. So I've had 3 of my 4 classes now. I've like the professors. I'm excited to get started. Even though our first class isn't necessarily what I've dubbed a syllabus day, which you see sometimes, especially in like undergrad, where the professor just like goes over the syllabus and then it's like, okay, it's been 20 minutes, bye, and then you actually start class like the second day of class. We can't really have days like that. It's grad school, so it's just a lot more serious. But we still do take up like a decent portion of the class of going over the syllabus and the course expectations, and the professor describes the, you know, assignments and stuff like that. And then a lot of the days, yeah, like I think all of the days we kind of spent like half the class kind of talking like broadly, like what is this class about, what are we focusing on. We did that especially in my print culture class, just because most of us aren't enormously familiar with what that actually means. So a lot of our readings were kind of like defining, they were the lectures and essays that like defined the field, and so we kind of like talked about like, what about this and how is this different from that and stuff like that. I'm excited. They're small classes, which is great. And aside from that, I've really just been going to the library and reading, and then I'll like take a break for lunch, and then I'll do more reading, and then I come home and I do more reading, and then I go to bed. That's kind of my life. So I thought I would show you, I'm about to leave for the library. It's about 10:30. It's a little later than I'd like, but I was tired, so it's fine. Today my class starts at 3, so even if I get there at like 11, I'll still have 4 hours to work. So the first thing I have to do is read this chapter in this book. It's actually available as like a scan online, but I have the book, so I'm just gonna read it out of the book. And then I need to read the other half of Oliver Twist. So that's kind of like my work focus for today. I'm kind of looking forward to this last couple of days. I've been doing like a lot of review over the stuff that I had read kind of in the last couple of weeks, because it wasn't super immediate and some of it was very similar and I needed to like keep it all straight. So today, to just be able to kind of like sit down and read new stuff is going to be nice. That the chapter in the book will probably take me 45 minutes or an hour to read, and then Oliver Twist, I don't know how long. So that's my day. I have a class. I'm gonna come home. I'll try to vlog a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. All the other like little piddly things that I was a little concerned about, where to have lunch, where to park, has all worked out. How long it was gonna actually take me to get to campus, I wasn't sure. The answer is 8 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes on the way back, because when I leave at like 6 o'clock, it's rush hour and I have to cross a major interstate, like not an interstate, but a major like local highway, and the lights back everybody up for a minute. So an extra 2 minutes though, I think I can suffer through that. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this class. This is the one class I haven't heard from the professor beforehand, and so it'll be nice to kind of just like meet the professor, see what the coursework is actually going to be, stuff like that. So I take back what I said about parking. It took me a minute to find a parking space today, which is totally my own fault because I was a little later than I planned to be most of the time, but that was just like a good reminder that it's not just about the time that I'm spending working, but it's like about being here early so I can get a good parking space and stuff. So you learn something new every day. Now I am at the graduate student lounge in the library, which is super nice because there's no one else here, which is why I'm talking. It's just like some tables and a cool couch, like the sectional to end all sectionals, and then there's some tables and stuff. But it's nice because it's a quiet place, there's no one here. I'm just gonna hang out and read for a while until it's time for lunch. I am being a much better vlogger today. I am proud of myself. So after my last update, I finished reading that book chapter. I think I talked about that. I talked about it this morning before I left at the very least. So I sat down and read it. It was pretty long. It was probably 40 or so pages. It ended on page 46, but I don't know where it started. I actually kind of enjoyed it. I was not looking forward to it because, like I said, I've read at least some of the chapters in that book. I don't even remember how much of it I have read, and I wasn't thrilled with it, but I think just being 6 years older and having 6 more years of experience reading that kind of work, it just requires a lot of attention. But the author was kind of funny. He was sort of snarky about some of the stuff he was talking about, and the article was, I think, as I mentioned, for my critical theory class. So it's just talking about like the class is focused on like what are the ways that we talk about literature and what are the different kind of ideas that we can bring to it and the different assumptions that we can make. And there's lots of different ideas about like what literature is and what it does and what its purpose is and how you interpret it and what kinds of things you should be looking at or looking for. And that has like changed. There's been a lot of fads. There's been like enduring ways of looking at literature, and so that's kind of like what the chapter was about. It was just an overview of the kind of English as a field of study. So I'm just kind of like checking out different study spaces on campus. So for the last 2 days, I worked in the library's big reading room, and I really like it. It's I think I have a clip of it. I'll show it here if I do. It's a big space. It's like got 20-foot ceilings. It feels kind of like very old school, which I like because our library is pretty contemporary, like at least on the inside, all of the furniture and stuff is very contemporary, so I like that kind of like older reading room feel that it has. But it can fill up pretty quickly because it is the main like quiet study space for the university, and it's a big school, so there's a lot of people. So I checked out today the Graduate Study Center. A couple of people came in while I was reading, but everybody was really good at being really quiet even when they were talking and stuff. It's definitely like a quiet study space. So I can see myself using that. And then I went to the English department. It has a graduate student study room. It's definitely much smaller, but it has like a comfy IKEA chair and a table. Like basically it's just like a kitchen table with chairs and then like a desk. And that was really nice and quiet, and a couple of my fellow students were there. Once we start teaching, we get an office, and I think we only have to, if we do share, we share with like maybe one other person, and so that's definitely like a place that you start to inhabit, and that's where you start to do your work. But the first year, because we're not teaching, we don't have offices, so that's kind of what the study space is for. It's for those of us so that we are sure that we definitely have a study space. So I can see myself being kind of in all of the places. I think it'll depend on my mood and what kind of work I'm doing. If I'm just reading, I'll probably go to the English lounge because it has comfy chairs. So I read in the English department study center. It's a lot of words. I read about, how many pages did I read? 70 pages, this much, of Oliver Twist. And then I got some lunch, and then I went to my class. This was the first class that I was going to have, and it was the one that I was maybe the most curious about because we didn't hear from the professor beforehand, and that was just because he didn't feel like he needed to give us any work for the first class. But again, I like the professor. I'm pretty sure I can say that about like 99% of the faculty. That's one of the reasons I came here, because everybody's so nice. So the point of this class, it's basically what the professor described it as is the professionalization workshop. So like, how do you be a professor? Because there's certain things that you know, any English professor is going to do. We're going to go to conferences about our literature stuff, and we're going to present papers there about the research that we're doing. And so like, how do you go to a conference? How do you organize a conference? How do you present at a conference? What's a good conference presentation versus a bad one? So class was good. I really enjoyed it. And now I need to keep reading Oliver Twist. So I am going to sit down and do that for about an hour. And then I'll probably be done for the day. The thing about having a syllabus is that you can always keep going, right? So knowing when to stop is sometimes an important skill. Hi guys, so it's Thursday and I figured I should probably film something. I went to what I'm thinking of as the second half of my first class for critical theory. So it meets twice a week for an hour and a half instead of once a week for 3 hours. And for some reason, I just like keep thinking of it as half a class instead of 2 classes. I don't know, whatever. That's my brain just like making sense of the schedule. And then I was done at 2:30, so that's the earliest that I've been finished since, or 2 o'clock actually. And then I talked to people for half an hour. Then I was done. And so to just kind of like be a treat and celebrate and to keep myself from like taking a nap, I went to a coffee shop and had lunch there and some coffee, which was great. And then I got quite a bit of work done actually in about 3 or so hours. And I really kind of only quit because my computer died and I didn't have the charger, so there's that. On the way home, I went to Half Price Books, and one of the books they had like at a different store in the area, so I asked them to ship it over, and it came in a couple of days ago, and I was just able to go pick it up today. And then I also picked up a just cheap copy of one of the texts that we have to read because we're reading the whole thing for my critical theory class. This is the symposium and Phaedrus. We're only supposed to read Phaedrus, which is like half the book. It's not long. It's like 50 pages. Phaedrus, like the whole book is 100 pages long. And so I just wanted like a cheap copy. I was gonna print out the copy that the professor gave us anyway because Play-Doh is hard and I don't know how to do the free printing yet, so I would have had to pay, and by the time I paid for the printer I could have just gotten a bound book, so I got the bound book. And then the other book I picked up, it was kind of a little moment because the edition of the book that we were supposed to get, because it's like it's a collection of several different works by the same author, and so we needed that one. I knew that the cover was black and it had a picture, it's Benjamin Franklin on the cover, and there was like a red and white stripe, and the guy pulled the book off the shelf and it was cream, and then it was in a box, and I was like, oh no, did we have a miscommunication about what it is that I was supposed to be getting? And so I, checked out anyway, because I wasn't gonna just like stop, and pulled the book out of the thing. It's like very nice. It's got the kind of shiny words. And when I got home, I checked Amazon. It turns out this is just the 3rd edition instead of the 5th edition or whatever, so the insides should be the same. But apparently the Library of America was trying to be fancy in the 90s, and they gave up, kind of. Library of America books now tend to... Holding a camera is tiring. Library of America books now do still usually have like the nice covers and like a ribbon bookmark, but they've got like a dust jacket, not a sleeve. so I feel very fancy. My little fancy box now. I don't know, whatever. So that's been my day. Very exciting. It's like really hot today too. We kind of had nice weather, like definitely summer weather, but like low 90s. In the shade it was really nice, but today it was just like 100 degrees and a little muggy, like just enough humid to be unpleasant. So that was unpleasant. So I'm home now. I was just kind of like spacing out on the computer for a little bit, and then I need to make dinner and do some cleaning and work out, and I might try to do more reading tonight, but it's already 7:15, so I don't know. Hey guys, it's Saturday now. Yep, Saturday. I'm such a good vlogger. This is gonna be a long vlog anyway, but yeah, that's not because I'm a good vlogger. It's because I'm a chatty one. It's Saturday. It's about 12:30. I was gonna vlog a little bit yesterday. It was actually a really fun day. I spent a lot of the time of the day cleaning and cooking and stuff, and then a friend of mine who's also a musician came over, and I don't know if you've heard about this kind of thing. Let me know if you have, because I was like really new to the idea, but some smaller musicians who don't have enough of a following to do like an actual concert tour will do what they call house concerts. So they have people host them, and the host, and then they sell tickets, and so they're really small and kind of intimate, and it gives you a chance to really like engage with the musician, and that was really enjoyable. It actually ended up just being me and my parents and my sister. So it was just like a really casual kind of lovely evening, but I just didn't have time to do anything else like vlog, and I didn't even like take a picture or film anything at all, so, which was fine. I didn't like intend to not do that. It just didn't happen. So now it's Saturday. I have a little bit of a headache. I kind of woke up with just like a tiny like tension in my neck, and so hopefully that won't go anywhere except maybe gone. Sometimes it gets worse as the day goes on, but right now it's been okay. Just drinking a ton of water and a lot of coffee. But anyway, what I've spent 2 minutes getting to is that usually on Fridays I will spend the day working on school stuff, but I did not spend the day working on school stuff this Friday because I had extra other things going on. So I kind of like switched my Friday and my Saturday kind of in my head. So today I have to do a whole lot of work. I actually got emailed by a professor who was like, hey, I decided to add this extra chapter and also go onto this website and prepare a 1 to 3 minute presentation about this thing. It's great. This is grad school, guys. So it'll be really interesting, and I will enjoy the work. It just, like, it's more, and it's due on Tuesday. So I have a lot of work to do. I think I'm gonna go to a coffee shop. It might be like massively crowded. I'm kind of like hoping that it's not. I haven't been there on a weekend yet. Usually I'm there like in the middle of the afternoon on a weekday, and there's not that many people there. So that's kind of my plan. I'm gonna take a bunch of the stuff and read it. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock. I ate lunch. I did not do any homework. I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I'm trying to kind of like not like protect spaces in my day where I'm not doing work. Like they're the kind of like mental like, times. And meal times I'm trying to have be one of those times where I'm like not working, because it's so easy to just like eat and read, but I want to keep them separate. So my focus today is, oops, it's upside down. To read this, actually it's like half. I don't know where it starts. It's like this much. Of this, it's Play-Doh though, so you know, 50 pages is a lot. I have this book. I think I'm just reading like, yeah, so I'm reading 1 chapter, and then I have some readings to do on my computer. Usually I'll print them out, but I haven't figured out how the printers work yet, so I haven't done that. There's a way that I can print, but I have to pay 5 cents a page, or I can print for free. So I'm waiting till I learn how you print for free. Okay, I was literally walking out the door, like backpack, purse. I just set a bunch of stuff down and there was a package on my doorstep. When you order from Amazon, even though I live in an apartment complex and my mailbox is like a hike, the nice Amazon people bring your packages to your door. So I'm gonna put it down, it being the camera, and open this. I think maybe because it's so hot out, it's like 100 degrees. The glue was really sticky. I had to like rip the package. Anyway, here's the book. Ah, it's upside down. Hey! Probably because I'm stressed. I'm not really stressed. Probably because I'll rephrase it. Probably because everything I'm reading for school requires a lot of like intense concentration. You really have to read differently for school. It requires a lot more focus than just like reading for fun. I have been rereading Emma Mill's book, and I really like Emma Mill's contemporaries. I'm not a big fan of contemporary YA. I like Emma Mill's contemporaries because although there's usually always a romance component, it's just one component, and the stories are often a lot more just about family and friendships and growing up, and I think that's just like more interesting to me, especially now that I'm older, and a lot of times I'm looking at the little teenagers and I'm like, oh, you're so cute. Anyway, but I didn't have First and Then, and I haven't read it, so it was like $6 on Amazon, and I figured I could spare $6. It's so shiny. I really love this cover. I actually tried to buy it used, and the last time I was at the bookstore, which was Thursday, I think, I tried to buy it used, and I went to the section where it was, and there was a young teen girl with a basket full of books, and one of them was First and Then, and I was a little annoyed for like 4 seconds, but then I was like, no, I'm glad, and I was like excited for her. I was like, oh, you get to read that book, which I haven't read, but I love Emma Mills. While I watch YouTube videos, I don't watch TV very often. Occasionally I'll go on a Netflix binge with a show and watch like 3 seasons in 4 weeks or something, but that's not very common. So even already people have been like, oh wow, you're still reading while you're in school doing all of this reading. But like when I'm reading contemporary YA, it feels more like watching a Netflix show than just reading Dickens or something. So in some ways I think that gives me an advantage. Because my reading tastes are so diverse, I, for fun, can kind of default to reading these books that are lighter and less taxing and more just like entertaining, which is what I kind of knew that I would do. It's why I saved a lot of YA books that I've bought recently. Hey guys, so it's 6 o'clock and I am home now and weirdly backlit. Sounds fine. I got a lot of work done actually. Yeah, the coffee shop wasn't too crowded, which I was afraid of, and I was able to find a place to sit, and I read about half of the things that I felt like I needed to get done today, but I'm planning to do more work in the evening, so that'll be fine. And then I picked up some dinner, which I will show you guys. I'm super excited. So I have a taco that's like beef and mushroom and yumminess, and then this crazy dish, which is like tater tots and cheese and bacon and herbs, and then they put a fried egg on top, and it sounds so weird, but it is so delicious, and I'm really excited. This is my like Saturday treat, and I cooked a lot yesterday, and I just really didn't want to cook today. So these are like house-made corn tortillas, and they are fabulous. So I'm going to read a little bit of First and Then, and I might look at this magazine that my mom got me because we were talking about tacos. Speaking of, it's their taco edition, so they're, I don't know, I'll read that article probably, and then I'll update you later. Hey guys, it's Sunday now. I thought I would just wrap up my reading vlog. Yeah. Yesterday I did end up working for an hour or two after the last time I updated you guys, and then I was just tired. So about like 9:30 I got in bed and I just read for a little bit. I finished Emma Mill's first book, First and Then. It was really cute. Not my favorite of hers, but it was her first book. So I think my favorite is This Adventure Ends, actually, which is the middle one. that's a digression. So I actually need to figure out how I'm going to edit this and do homework today, because that's what's on the plate. But I'm going to end the reading vlog here. I mean, it's just an infinite loop, but this is a pretty decent glimpse into the life of a graduate student. It's very glamorous. We read stuff and we eat food and we go to class. It's kind of how things go. I just finished filming a book haul with all of my books for this semester. They all finally came in last week, so I was able to film that, so look out for that eventually. I just have a lot less time now, and editing is time consuming. This vlog ended up being really long, I think, but thanks for sticking around. If you have any questions about grad life, grad school, whatever, leave them in the comments below. I'll respond to you individually, but then I will also, if I get enough questions, I might compile them for a Q&A video sooner or later. So just let me know what you want to hear about, or if you want to stop hearing about these things. I don't say this all the time, but don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps my videos get more views, even if you don't plan on like watching every single thing that I've put out. It's helpful to me. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.